The next step, once we've got our data in here and the application all ready to go, is to start thinking about other tables, other workflows that we might want to add in. At this point, we haven't really talked about the process that the sales team is trying to follow. So if you want to start adding something like that in, it's no problem to go in, look at the data that we imported, and start moving things out into their own kind of buckets. And those buckets are going to give us some additional workflow, some additional space in which to work, and really help to provide a more intuitive experience for anyone coming into this and trying to use it as an application, not a database. So the first step that I'm going to take in order to do that is to normalize data. And so for any database nerds out there, you're really going to have fun with this one. I think this is a really great way to start moving quickly through application building. For anyone who's not as comfortable with something like normalization, or who's never heard of normalization before, what we're really doing is simply saying, hey, part of the information that came in as this spreadsheet really belongs in its own bucket. I'm tracking a whole bunch of activities here, but we can see that some of the information about these activities is actually customer information. You know, who we're working with and what company they work for, all that kind of good stuff. So I can take that customer information and move it out onto its own table, and that's what we call normalization. So moving some of this data out, you'll see that now I get a new table based on all of that customer contact info that I can start to use to add workflow in and start tracking additional activities against those customers without having to duplicate anything. So importing this spreadsheet, turning it into an application like this, is a great example of how organizations are digitally transforming their existing data or processes. So now we have all our customers moved out onto their own table. What we can do from here is start really customizing that workflow that I've mentioned, really making sure that the whole experience, from the visuals that we're presenting all the way down through the actual screens that have to be clicked through in order to add new customers, are really well thought out and nicely designed for your end users. First thing you're going to see here is that the new table we've created has a form associated with it. So both the activities table as well as the customers table are going to automatically have forms created by QuickBase. But when I load into this form, you'll see that it's not formatted perfectly. It's kind of everything's stacked vertically here. Nothing is really well organized yet. So what I can start to do is customize this form. I can tweak it, move things around, or I can also start to add things to this form really quickly. I can just right-click on the page, add a new field. In this case, I'm going to pick an address field, add that right on here, and you'll see that pops right into the form and allows us to start filling it out right away. And these kinds of transformations, these kinds of additions and customizations are all real-time. We can be publishing this to users as they're using the application and giving them more features and functionality as we go. So really helping not only to solve the initial need, but make sure that it's easy to keep up with the additional requests that might come down further down the road. So you've seen how in a few minutes I was able to take that request for sales activity management and turn it into an application. We've gone ahead, we've created new tables, we threw together a new form and customized that, made it look a little bit more intuitive. And so I want to show you what I was able to do with just an hour or so additional time to continue customizing and tweaking that application. Here you'll see a completed version of that activity manager where I now have a dashboard helping me to see all my upcoming activities, all the different opportunities that I'm working, as well as even a calendar to help me keep my month organized. So this application, once again, same concept, just extrapolated a bit further, and you can see how in just an hour or so you can have something that looks really, really professional, really clean, and hopefully is going to allow your users to move a lot more quickly through their day.